Is that good? Okay. Sorry, I can't hear. Hello. Welcome, everyone. I'm Haven Lynn Kirk, the area head for design here at the USC Roski School of Art and Design. We have a brand new name. Thank you for joining us tonight for Roski Talks and our special guest speaker, Mark Werts. Roski Talks are public undergraduate lectures featuring creative leaders from across the field of art, design, and fashion. Tonight's speaker, Mark Werts, was green before it became a personal or corporate mantra. He was global before it was trending, and his brand, American Rag, has been synonymous with contemporary styling for over 30 years. His iconic His iconic vision of the retail experience has extended from his flagship in the La Brea store in Fashion Island to outposts in China, Japan, Eastern Europe, and Southeast Asia. Each element of his forward-thinking empire, merchandise, interior architecture, lifestyle, cafes, and uniquely experiential dressing rooms, which I'll let him explain later, is embedded with a sense of hand-selected authenticity. Mark has been celebrated as one of the most innovative and trend-setting realtors in the United States and abroad. Mark has been the recipient of numerous awards and recently received the prestigious Uptown Downtown Menswear Lifetime Achievement Award. The Spirit of Life honoree and LARack.com has called American Rag the best place in the city to blow your paycheck. I'm delighted to welcome an amazing fashion icon and special friend to USC, Gail Gardner Roski School of Art and Design, Mark Werts.
Does this thing work? Yeah. How about now? If it's up to you, you want. I mean, we're kind of not a big group tonight, so if you wanted to make it like a chit chat session. In fact, what we could do? We could call the lecture over right now, and we're just going to talk, and we could just sit around and talk a little bit. So, but if you want to stay there, that's okay too. Very briefly, a little bit about me. I was born and raised in Southern California. I went to high school not so far from here, a place on Venice Boulevard called Loyola High School. And I wasn't a good student. So I went to junior college, and then from junior college, I came to a place that really wasn't very prestigious at the time. It had a great football team, and that was USC. And it was easy to get into for people like me. But I thought it was the greatest place in the world. And after my junior year, this was in the time of Vietnam War. I ran out of money, and so I got in a plane, and it was a propeller jet. I'm 68 years old, and flew to Reykjavik, Iceland, and then from there flew to Luxembourg, and spent a year in Europe, and went to the University of Madrid. And with the credits I had at Madrid, they were good at UC Berkeley, so I finally did not graduate from USC, but UC Berkeley, because I was out of money. And I went to graduate school after a stint coaching football for a year in Oregon. I then went to Thunderbird graduate school in Arizona, and from there I went to all through the Middle East and Iran, which was travelable at that time. I crossed what was the Soviet Union, and then landed in Geneva, and I was hired by a company called Pricewaterhouse, which does the Academy Awards, or the accountants. And I was sent to Madrid, and one of our clients was in the apparel business. And so I was just a dumb green kid that could speak a couple languages, so I was in between everything and made it work. But while I was looking at all those statistics, my brain was working, and so I left Madrid and I moved to Amsterdam, Holland, and I started a company. And by the time I was, I'm going to say, 28, I had 150 employees, and off to the races. So that's a quick, and I started American Rag in 1984. And this is the Roski School of Fine Arts, and I'm a member of the Board of Counselors here. So, and sometimes in our chit-chatting at our meetings, we talk about the right brain and the left brain, and how, so I always think of Roski as a place where you use your creative side, but you also have to earn a living. So that's a really important thing that, I don't know if any of you pay rent, or if you have a, you know what I mean? Like, all that has to happen. So whatever you do, you have to have fun doing it, but, you know, it's got to work. There's a few admonitions. Most people are known by their work. So I'm going to show you what I'm up to. And then I'm going to make a few comments at the end about major trends that I think that are intact right now. And no matter what any of you are thinking about doing, I think that you must take into consideration these very major trends, because they are happening. And if they aren't happening visibly to everybody right now, those of us who are fortunate to work all around the world, I can tell you that a lot of things are happening around the world that aren't happening in the United States right now. In any case, one admonition before we start is, and Haven's heard this from me so many times, please don't ever work. Never work. If you work, then it's a drudgery. It's hard to get up in the morning. It's a pain in the you-know-what. You should only do what you like. So never do anything you don't like. Only do what you like. And you'll be successful, promise, because it's your hobby and it's not your work. So that's really important. Another admonition I'm going to say to you is don't do anything really for money, because if you do anything for money, you won't have money. But if you do things for love, you have money. So, because it just finds you somehow. It's like a law of attraction. It just flows to you. So, you know, just do what you love to do and don't do it ever for money. And then the last thing that of an admonition is what I always think of is there's no goal. The process is the goal. So the act of doing is the goal. So, you know, if you enjoy doing it, then you've reached your goal. So that's something I think is really important. M-Dub, why don't we start here? So we'll start with this. So this was the very first marketing thing that I ever did. I was about 26 years old, and I opened a jean store in Amsterdam on a street that was called Nieuwedijk. And so the puzzle was, okay, I was bringing in all the rock stars were touring Europe, and they'd come to the Paradiso in Amsterdam, but the clothing wasn't for sale. So I went to New York, got the clothing and put it there, and then put it in this store, which was underwater when I found it. But then the next project was how to get the store known. So, you know, in that time in the Netherlands, there was a lot of young people sitting around smoking grass. You know, it was legal. So, you know, so one night, bright idea. Let's have a naked guy walk in. This was 1971, you know. And that in Dutch says, hij had zich gekleden bij de salty dog, which means he's going to put his clothes on inside the salty dog. So, and then there was a thing called free postering. So you could free poster in places. It was part of the liberal Dutch, regime, so to speak. And so, you know, you free postered, and we put this poster up, and I still have it in my office today because it's it's a reminder. Anyway, next, M-Dub. Let's keep going. This is one thing that I'm going to stress over and over and over is that it's more important to use and have protein between your ears than to have money. Money, anybody can have money, but protein between your ears, that's rare. So a fellow who you're going to see later on, and this was my partner for many years, Rudolph, he was at an auction, and they had these horrible color green chairs. There were 8 of them, and they were bidding on them, you know, and they started off at $200. So do I hear 3? Do I hear 4? Do I hear 5? $200. So, they didn't sold for $200. So he bought all of these chairs, these gorgeous chairs, for $200, and then brought it back, painted the walls the same color as the chairs, and then took a portrait of Picasso, blew it up, and I don't know who the other people are on the other wall, but the green cow we found someplace in France.
I think the girl on the left is a famous ballerina who was Russian and moved to Paris in the turn of the century.
Could be. Rudolph would know. Anyway, so that's where we all meet and have all our meetings in American Rag, in that lovely environment. The tables from China and the chairs are from somebody's auction, and God knows where they're from. Mark? So next to my chair, I have a little thing that I saw in a magazine. It's been next to my chair for I don't know how long, but in preparing for it tonight, I just took a camera and sort of ran around the American Rag La Brea store, and that's something that I think of often, and it's said by a guy that used to smoke a cigar, Winston Churchill, and I think it just speaks for itself. I think it's something that should be always remembered. Mark, let's keep going. In 1968, there was a revolution in Paris, and there was a guy that did something that later became an important form of art, and he would tell the students where they were going to meet. And the only way he did it was to take a spray can and paint it on the wall. And that's the first graffiti artist. And this guy now still is in Paris, and he does these type of painting. That's in my office, and that's kind of fun. On top, Haven will recognize that. That's from the Roski School of Fine Arts. Ruth Weisberg, who was a previous dean here, and I met for lunch one day, and she says, "Well, what are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm opening a store in Newport Beach." And she said, "Oh, that'd make an interesting class." And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Well, would you do it?" I said, "Yeah. When do we start?" She says, "Well, in a week." And I'm like, okay, okay. So we did a class about, what was that, 7 years ago or so, or something like that. More than that, 7 or 8 years ago, and the people, the kids in the class did a lot of design work on the actual store, and I invited them to come down and meet with the construction people and all, just make it a real sort of like a reality TV type of deal. So in any case, the one group, and I don't remember their names right now, the Roski School submitted their work into a contest with people like J. Walter Thompson and with big advertising firms, and lo and behold, the kids at USC won. Right, they won the professional award. It's the best, most interesting design for a billboard in the U.S. It was in, Anyway, so MW, let's keep going. So that's American Rag on La Brea on the outside. Hasn't changed. That's the way it designed it in 1984, and it's still the same. It has the same awnings and the same everything. And if something's good, you don't need to fix it. So it's on a street that has massive traffic. You get about half of 1 second in order to look up from your car, so it has to be big, strong. The most important thing in a retail store is what it looks like from the outside, because everybody walks by and they get a split second, do I go in there or not? And so that's a really, really, really important thing for those of you in merchandising and retailing. Keep going. That's just something that Rudolph, my partner, found in the flea market. I think it was like $20, and that's been in the front of our store for quite a while. We keep going. So this is okay. So this is as you come in. This is the $5,000 Taschen book. Who's the photographer? Sebastian Salado or something. Yeah, right. And Taschen's a great book company. They always have great things. All the display cases came from a bankrupt store in Paterson, New Jersey. The shoe racks and all that we built because we just, it was just common sense. The clocks in the back are actual clocks from France and Eastern Europe of steeples that are, because every little village has a church, so you find those clocks in the flea markets in Europe. Actually, the hats on the left there are from England. Those are from the guards that guard Buckingham Palace. There's just a lot of junk in there. There's some televisions in the back, and I want everybody to remember Louis XVI up here. See Louis in the middle, back up there in the trellis work. Louis is very, very, very important. We'll get back to why. Let's keep going. So when you're buying product for a retail place, you always have to think of what does it cost to sell it, and and then what's profit margin afterwards. One of the costs to sell it, usually in perfume, is to have somebody there to sell it to you. But in these type of things, which come from Cannes in France, this was the way that people who worked in perfume factories would smell stuff without getting it on their hands. And so somebody came with this idea to merchandise this, and so we bought this, and I think it's absolutely great. And besides that, the scents are absolutely great. And anybody that can merchandise like that usually has a good brain, and so he's going to pick good scents anyway. And so this has been a really successful collection for us. Moving right along. This was in lifestyle retailing, there's no limits to what you sell. So you can sell anything, it's just, if it's stylish and beautiful, you can sell it because there's no boundaries because it's only really about what's beautiful. And this is Jean-Michel Basquiat. And there's somebody in Limoges in France where they make the beautiful porcelain, took a license from, I guess, the estate of Basquiat. And we had a candle collection that we got in before Christmas this year, made in the Limoges plates. And this sold very, very, very well and gives a certain, obviously, flavor to the store that's important. Week, yeah. And you can get it at LACMA right now while we're waiting for another delivery. Okay. This is you'll see this tile every place we do stores, and when we do stores overseas, it's part of our DNA. This is from a handmade Moroccan tile. I could give you a whole film on how each one of these tiles is made. Obviously, in the Muslim religion, there's no forms of humans, so there's all geometric forms, and these tiles are geometric forms that are hundreds of years old, and you find these throughout Morocco in old palaces, buildings, riads, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so what we've done, what my partner Rudolph has done, is to take these handmade tiles and to use them in an interesting and new and creative way. And we do it absolutely globally. We've done it in China, we've done it in Thailand, we've done it in the Middle East, we've done it, we're now doing it in Japan. And so let's keep going. Well, there was something back there that I just noticed. Do you mind going back one? Yeah. I don't know if you ever go to the flea markets and you see African masks. They're all in dark wood, and sometimes they have bugs in them, and that's sort of gnarly. But so Rudolph would buy them for nothing because nobody wanted them because they had bugs in them. And then we painted them all white, and so that became a whole wall. And when it's a whole wall, it's really, 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 really beautiful. So, and I kind of like the conflict and and we always look for conflict. I love the conflict between the TV screen and the ancient African masks. How about the next one? Chandelier, flea market. I don't know. It was cheap. Somebody didn't want it. We did. So, it's great for our little women's lingerie department. It makes it sort of what I call tongue in chic. Should we keep going? That's a table in the lingerie department. Obviously, candles and stuff, and I don't even know where that frame came from. Probably Aaron Brothers or somebody horrible. Okay, next. Okay. So American Rag. American Rag was a vintage clothing store originally. That we only sold original vintage clothing. I mean, that was it. And so we would buy lots of things that were discarded and nobody wanted, or what were overruns or closeouts or God knows what. And you'd buy it in the early days. You bought it by the pound. You bought things for 12 cents a pound, 50 cents a pound, $2 a pound, and that sort of thing. And so we bought these ladies' stockings, and the ladies' stockings were absolutely horrible. But I mean, they were gnarly. But the packaging was absolutely beautiful. So as we were going through them, we started throwing things, and we put the red ones over there, and put the green ones there, and the yellow ones there, and this and that. And finally, sort of the collage of the colors became something that was really interesting to Rudolph, and so he put this whole thing together. Do we have a close-up of that? Yeah, there you go. I don't know if can anybody see? Can you see that? Those are 60s and 70s ladies stockings. That's a huge wall at American Rag on La Brea. Actually, that wall's been there for too long. I'm getting tired of it. That's about to leave. And a customer came in not long ago and wanted to buy the whole thing for $5,000. And boy, did we almost. I regret not taking it because. Have some great new ideas, and you know, if you knew what we paid for it, the percentage markup would be just absolutely astronomical. Let's keep going. That's in our ladies department. Now those beautiful metal garden statues, which I found in Paris in the flea market, I was so proud to find these 4 rusted ladies. I know you can see another one there, and I was thinking, you know, like that must have been in a beautiful estate someplace and this and that. So we had them carefully crated up and put in a container and brought back. And when we were unpacking them, we noticed that on the bottom there was stamped "Made in China." Let's keep going. So that's a Chinese French garden. So this little guy was another one of those things in the auction, which someone thought was worth, you know, like a fortune. So, you know, it was I think we paid $100, $125. You know, going once, going twice, sold for $125. So. It's you know, I think it's beautiful. It makes a great merchandising piece, and you know, if you stop and think what Neiman's pays for their merchandising, or what some of the great luxury department stores of the world pay for their merchandising, what we pay for our merchandising, is like it's not even in the same thought. So we'll keep going. I always like to find things that nobody wants because no, it's like contrarian, like what does everybody not want? And then I'll go look at that because that's really cheap. So, you know, in the 70s in Texas, in all the great places, I don't know, did you ever see the television show Dallas? You know, I don't know, maybe before your time. Anyway, yeah, I'm going back. Yeah. So, oh, they brought it back. Oh, okay. Anyway, you know, they had all the stories of these type of chicks. You know what I mean? Like, do we have any more? Do we have another one? Is it? Oh, we don't have. Anyway, we have a collection of these, which are absolutely great. You know, I mean, you know, it's so.
It was like a rite of passage. You had your family would sit for a family portrait, and then you would hang that above your fireplace.
But I think what they did is they took a picture first, and then they'd paint on the picture. I think that was the deal. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's just horrible. But, you know, okay, let's keep going. Oh, there's our masks. That's another one of the masks. Okay, we talked about that. Let's keep going. Okay. So one time I was on an airplane, and, you know sometimes I never talk to anybody in an airplane. Bob, you probably do, but I don't, you know. So anyway, I was on an airplane. The guy next to me, I said, so what do you do? You know, and you know, he's sitting in the front of the plane, so he's, I guess, making a lot of money. So I said, so he says, well, I'm one of the, you know, I'm the marketing guy, and you know, he tells me the companies. I go, oh my God, you know, like, really? You know, I said, so I asked him, I said, so, you know, so we chatted along, we had a drink, whatever, and, you know, flying along. You know. So at the end, when we were about to land, I wanted to pick his brain a little bit. So I said, so can you sum up? You know, like, can you tell me, you know, why do they pay you so much money? What do you tell people to do that is so special? Because, you know, he just seemed like a regular guy to me. He says, well, I tell retailers and merchant, you know, and department stores and Walmarts and, you know, Targets and H&Ms and all these, to just tell the customer what it is you're selling. So if you're selling peanut butter, you put up a sign that says, peanut butter. Hey, isn't that interesting? So you know, so when I walk into supermarkets and I see like Whole Foods, you know, they come up, you know, like potato chips, you know, like, you know, and it's got, you know, like, so this is very studied that it, you know, like the simple is what people want. They don't, you know, they don't want to get complicated. So in that vein, Rudolph painted a white canvas black, and for the vintage department, and wrote vintage. So that's how that painting came about. Okay, we'll keep going. That's just more flavor, and it says high-end vintage. Okay, so guess what's sold there? High-end vintage. How about that? You know, And we'll keep going. Let's just keep going. Also, it's extremely important to whatever you're doing to stay current, to be involved in your times. And this gentleman is a man that comes along once every 500 years. And so the last month of his life when he was in the hospital, we found this old book. And so we used our good friend Nelson as someone that we honor, but also someone that tells our customers who we think is important. So we keep going. So this is one of these great, expensive merchandising things. This is an old mattress where the cloth has sort of rotted off of it. So we ripped the cloth off and had metal springs on it, and then that becomes a display for expensive bags and for designer clothing. M-dub. So behind the cash register as you go out, it's like giving somebody a business card. So the last view you have in a retail store is what you see before you go out. And so what we do is we have this in all our stores. We have this cabinet, this lighted cabinet. And last night we had a conference call with Thailand for an hour and a half, and we were explaining. And this is really was outer space for these people. We were explaining what we're doing. And I mean, these Thai people, they did Louis Vuitton, they did Mont Blanc pens, and we were telling them to do stuff, and they couldn't figure out what in the world we're saying. And I told them, I said, you have to light every single case in every single place. You have something. You have to have a light. Always, yes. Everyone, yes. This year, next year, in 10 years, in 100 years, forever, every place you sell something, you have to light it, because if people can't see it, they can't buy it. So, we try and keep, isn't that right? Susan's the president of our company, and Susan and I decided at one point in time that what is the difference between, a high-level executive and someone who just sort of works for you? Well, the difference is that if you're a high-level executive, you can tell when a light goes out and that a bulb needs to be replaced. It's a very, very key skill to running anything. Let's keep going. That's our friend. Are we coming back to him? Okay, so I'm not going to tell you about him. So we'll keep going. That's Louis. Let's go back to him. I got one other thing. Louis was also made in China. That's Louis says from Guangzhou. So, okay. Part of the experience in any environment is obviously music. Music is extremely important, and I used to buy music all over the world, especially in Europe, because Europe in the music world was far ahead. And people would ask us, what's that playing? What's that playing? Or what's that? Because we didn't have the smartphone where you could put up and the smartphone would tell you what's playing. So we then started to sell the music that was playing, and we still do today, but now we just stock it. We don't sell it because nobody buys CDs anymore. So, but it's kind of a relic. I think it's, we've had some.
It's more of an advertising tool. Not everything you're going to sell, you're going to make money off of. Some things are just to develop the character of the store. So
that's one of them. Okay, let's keep going. Incidentally, back real quick. That's the menu at La Scala in Milano on top. I borrowed it. I just photocopied it and made it bigger. So, okay, keep going. Going out the door, this is a little thing we found in some flea market somewhere. It's has seeds and little succulents and these little cactuses, and it just sort of breaks up a dead space. Instead of having nothing there, we have something that's kind of fun and interesting, and we'll keep going. And so when a lot of people who come to visit American Rag, we have 70,000 on La Brea. We have 70,000 SKUs. Okay, so how do you manage something like that? Well, you do manage it. We have everything broken down into categories, subcategories. We have buyers for certain things, and we have what we run as a thought. You guys can write this down. It's across every single product group that we have. We buy what we call 40-40-20. And what's 40-40-20? 40 is low to mid-size group, and then the next 40 is mid to high group, and then 20 is luxury. So when we sell groupings of things, we sell 40, 40, 20. And we sell it in books, and we sell it in clothing, and we sell it in shoes, and we sell it in accessories, and we sell it in t-shirts, and we sell it in everything. We want to have low to mid-price goods. Style is obviously the unifying factor in everything. But if it's stylish, it could be a low price, it could be mid-price, it could be high price, or it could be luxury goods. Here we have luxury men's shoes and Casa de shoes from Italy, which are luxury women's shoes, and those probably are, I don't know, $900 to $1,200. Is that right?
My heels are $900 to $1,200, and the sneakers are, gosh, I think they're $400 to $800.
Right, something like that. But we're really not about price, because we have Toms too. What's Toms, like $20? But Toms is a nice product. It's so it doesn't make any difference what as long as it's a good product, the price is not important. There's no more pianos in your parlor anymore. So pianos are sold in auction. Pianos go for about $150 to $200 now, a grand piano, because nobody wants them. Remember, I'm the guy that buys the stuff that nobody wants. So what do you do, though, with a piano? So what we do is we take the legs off, and now it's our bench and our shoe departments. So we've done this in the Middle East, we've done this, and we've done it around. Actually, we've done it so many times right now, I'm ready to move on. We got to do something else. But it's still fun, and kids like to come in and play while mom's shopping. So this is just our shoe display type of the things that we sell. Everything's lit, and we'll move right along. Most of our clientele are young adults, from between 15 to 45, somewhere in there, and young adults have things called children. So I have two myself. I have twins that are 2 years old, and so Doc Martens for kids. So it's as long as the kid doesn't have friends and doesn't get to decide what the thing is, and the parents are buying them clothes, then we would stock that. Once the kid goes to school, I can't stay up with what the kids think is cool, but I can stay with what the parents think is cool. So we only sell very, very small things, like very, very small things. Once the kid gets big, we don't sell it. Let's keep going. Testimony to that. There's Super, and I think those are Melissa's, aren't they? Yeah, right. Okay, let's keep going. And there's our Casa Days, which are absolutely drop-dead gorgeous. And what we do is we go into a huge collection, and we just select certain styles. And people allow us to do that because of who we are. Most people want to sell their whole collection, and we just don't do that. But since it's prestige to be in our store, people do it. So, so we do things like that, groupings of merchandise well together. Just old signs that came from the beach: surf at your own risk, yield to surfers, and surf for parking only. Bango. I don't know where we found those. Those are Andy Warhol interview magazine from the 70s. What we do is we find old magazines and we blow them up. It also makes great wallpaper for dressing rooms. Keep going. We've seen the Moroccan lamps everywhere. Those are the same lamps that are in the home of Yves Saint Laurent, who has passed away in Marrakesh. I saw them in a magazine featuring his home, and I went and found the guy that made them, and those became our sort of standard lights in Japan and U.S. for a lot of years, and they still are.
We designed that, and the reason being is that we used to have racks with feet on it, and people used to trip over it all the time. And so we kind of figured out a system to put it in the floor, that basically you don't trip over it anymore, and it allows you to still merchandise, move things around, but you then don't have that problem.
So the idea what Mark is expressing is that you just keep evolving. You keep doing, if you do something and you do it wrong, forget it, do it right. So, you just have to keep going. You can't fall in love with your investment of $25,000 in wood rackings that everybody trips over. You got to spend another $50,000 to make a new system that works and that people don't trip over. Let's keep going. Dead space. Do something with it. Just don't leave dead space unless it's aesthetically pleasing. So we found all these old televisions in a warehouse in Louisville, Kentucky. Bang! We got rid of some dead space. And I don't know. I like it better than dead space, those old televisions. Let's keep going. That's our Moroccan tile. Once again, everything is handmade from Morocco. They're made in geometric patterns, and they're supposed to look like a rug. So it's, so you'd have like all blue on the outside, and then in the middle you'd have a yellow rug, and that's how traditionally it should be used, and that's how it originally was displayed. But Rudolph, who you'll see a picture of pretty soon, he's not traditional. That's our cash area at the end, and that's our cashier, who's the son of our electrician, and this gentleman over here, Mike, he's a one-man show in our e-commerce business, and it's a 7-figure business, and he runs the whole thing. Let's keep going. As you go out, there's something called impulse buying. Impulse buying is jewelry, many times for women. So as they're standing there to pay, they've got all sorts of interesting things in front of them, and so that's why we have that. Oh, our dressing rooms. Okay, so do you know what percentage of women want to see their fanny when they buy a pair of jeans? 100%. 100. That's the reason, when so a woman puts on a pair of jeans. I mean, I've watched this for years. Puts on a pair of jeans and does this. So she's looking. So one day I was in a hotel, and there was a television in the mirror. And I went, okay, so maybe you could get a camera on your fanny. And if you put the television in the mirror and the camera's on your fanny, then you'd see your fanny going straight forward in the mirror. And so that became the booty cam. And the booty cam, a PR picked it up, and it was on the morning shows. This was a couple of years ago. It was on the morning shows. And, ABC, CBS, NBC, Bloomberg, I don't know. It went CNN USA. Then it went CNN Viral. Then it went across all of like Northern Europe. Went to Denmark. Didn't go to Scandinavia, but it went to Denmark. But then it finally peaked in Brazil. Because in Brazil, your booty is really important. So they flew a whole group up, and they did a whole TV show on the booty cam, which was quite interesting. That's what that is over there. So that says, warning, this dressing room has a booty cam. So you walk in, you see your backside when you look in the mirror. M-dub. Postcards, lovely thing. We want everybody who walks in the door to buy something. Those are, like $1.50, something like that. So everybody can buy something. We keep it interesting, and it's fun. And time's going quick. Let's keep going. That's Rudolph. That's our creative director. He and I have been partners for 25 years, maybe. We've been partners for over 30. I don't know. Who knows? We're attached at the hip. He's the only guy that I can come and start talking to and having like fast ideas about something that's, like, oh, that'll be beautiful of you. And then he puts words in my mouth and says, yeah, but it'd be better if you, and then, so he and I have worked together for years and years and years and years. And he's basically our overseas designer of all the new stores that we're doing globally. Next. Okay, this is just an aluminum sign which Rudolph painted to look old going into our denim section. And let's keep going. So that's RRL, Ralph Lauren. That's the luxury jean section, and Rudolph did that whole thing. It's really great. Ralph Lauren himself has been in our store a number of times, and he basically, when we do something, they just send us a check. They say, you do it as well as we do it, so you just do it. So we like the Polo Company. I love their aesthetic, and it's something that we've already sold for years. Let's keep going. This Mark, you tell about this brand.
So this was a brand that he tried to buy for Salty Dog in the 70s, and it was a brand out of France that they would never sell to him.
Marseille.
And basically, the father ran the brand for probably till late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, probably something like that.
Something like that. And basically, he closed the brand, moved to Los Angeles, and
Had 2 kids.
had 2 kids, and the son restarted the brand but didn't tell the father. And so he set up the whole store, did a whole window, and in our store, and he brought his dad in and showed the whole display to say, look, I took your brand and made it continue the family business, and we were the first location to carry the brand.
So we have merchandise meetings every once a month, and he came and told this whole story to us. Let's keep going. Well, this is our denim section called World Denim Bar. The chairman of Levi Strauss & Company walked into the store, didn't say much, walked around the whole store and looked at everything, didn't say much, and then at the end he looked at me and says, "This is the best denim store on planet Earth." And I said, God, that's a great marketing line. Can I use that? From the chairman of Levi Strauss worldwide. We have about 80 different brands, and we have about 1,200 different styles that you could purchase. Let's keep going. Part of our formula is architectural salvage, and things like those doors that nobody wants for $200-300. We refit them and build around them and make them part of our quote modern environment. Let's keep going. So World Denim Bar, in order to tell people what's World Denim Bar, we have maps of the world, but we just can't have boring maps. So those are school maps from France. The Murano lights are expensive, and so once again, it's conflict. I guess those doors are highly impractical, isn't that right? Yeah, they suck. We should probably do something about that. And those are the doors. A couple of those dressing rooms have booty cams in them. Let's keep going. Shuffleboard table. What in the world do you do with a shuffleboard table? Well, you sell jeans on it, obviously. Let's keep going. PRPS, one of the best jean brands in the entire world. They came in and did that, which I think is great. It's like just cement on plywood, very high tech. Let's keep going. Denham, Amsterdam. Jason Denham, his name is Denham, Denham. And guess what he sells? He sells denim. So he's a great brand from Amsterdam. Good merchandiser too. So our homeware is part of lifestyle. Retail is all about entertainment. So the guy probably does that best in LA is the guy from the Grove, Caruso, and Americana. And because with e-commerce was 10% of sales this Christmas, but that's going to go higher. So at some point in time, there's going to be a change in retail where retail is going to be like a little bit of showroom, a little bit of e-commerce, a little bit of a lot of things, and it's changing. So part of our concept is food, and we do organic Mediterranean food, and we do it in our flagship stores. And that, once again, same old formula, same old boring formula. I always did. Like, see that bar there? That was in a hotel downtown. Somebody didn't want it. So, will you take this from me? Sure, I'll take it from you. What do you want for it? Well, so you buy it because it's old and wrecked. You fix it up, and then you're off to the races. This beautiful Deco bar. Everybody asks us about it. Whatever you merchandise well. If you merchandise shoes, you merchandise them well. If you merchandise socks, you merchandise them well. If you merchandise pie, you merchandise it well. So, it's really important, the presentation, and the presentation is part of your formula. Let's keep going. A picture speaks 1,000 words. I think this one speaks for itself. We can keep going. This is looking at the other part of our homeware store, and we're running short on time. This shows the vast, what you're looking at this is Chinese. Those rugs there are Indian. The books are from all over the world. The tiles are Moroccan. Postcards are from everywhere. This is from Anduze, France, the big pot. It's just a mixture of things from everywhere. It's about style. It's not, it's just, it's a fantasy, and you put it all together and you create your own fantasy. Those are knives, right? Those are good knives. One of our biggest selling items are cutlery, and just because it's great value and a great price and great quality. So that's something to remember. Keep going. That's just a presentation of our plates. What time are we finishing tonight? Like 8:15 or something like that? Yeah, okay, soon. Yeah. Our dishes come from Portugal. They come from France, Thailand, where else? Italy, Belgium, Turkey. I don't know. It's about the style. So we don't really care where it comes from. Style, price, value. Let's keep going. Same with our tablecloth, napkins, table runners, and all that. A lot come from the Basque area of France, which is up on top there. Should we keep going? I just think that our glassware is the most beautiful presentation of glassware any place on planet Earth, bar none, period. So that's my opinion. And if I don't think that, then I shouldn't be selling the stuff. So we think the stuff is beautiful. You can't see a lot of the designs of things and what's going on here. But some things are very special. Let's keep going. For example, this group is all made from Tuscany in central France, or central Italy, Florence. And all this group is made out of a little fabric called plastic. But I think they look absolutely beautiful, and you have them by your pool and whatever, and no glass if something drops. Let's keep going. Moroccan tea glasses we sell by the thousands, literally by the thousands, and has been for forever. So, that's a new basic. That's a white T-shirt and a 5-pocket jean. This is from Nessa Moretti in Murano. This is a long story, but we'll make it really short. In the factories of Murano, you go in these huge buildings, and you have about 13 workers where there used to be 400 workers. It's kind of eerie because there's only 13 people there working, making hand-blown glass. So basically, when the Italian glass blowing industry died, and it was all put in Asia and in China. So these places closed, but they always sold the top of the pyramid, the best stuff. So the Italian, this is ironic. So the Italian people didn't want to pay much for the glass, so they bought the Chinese glass, which is, good for the guy who owns the Chinese factory, okay? But the guy in China, he doesn't want to have a Chinese glass. He wants to have an Italian glass. So he comes to Italy on vacation. What's the money he's made by putting the Italian company out of business? So, but the guy that used to work at the Italian factory no longer works at the Italian factory because there's no work, and so he now runs a gondola and sings "O Solo Mio" and "Volare," and he is singing to the Chinese guy that put him out of business. And it's sort of ironic to watch all this happen. And it's all of it. This is Venice. Murano's an entire island that is closed down. But it's the things they do are beautiful, 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 beautiful. This is one of the items in the store that we stock, but we don't sell yet. So anyway, let's keep going. More Murano, all different colors, just beautiful, all hand blown. So each piece is different because it's all hand done. They look kind of the same, but they're not. Keep going. Those are some cups and some other beautiful things that we have from Murano. And the frames the frames on the top are from the city of Bergamo, Italy. From a factory that we do almost all our frames in Italy because he does the best job. Let's keep going. Cheese. If you're going to do cheese, you do it this way. Keep going. Getty Images. Getty Images has about 90,000 negatives. This is Slim Aarons, and so when you're merchandising something, it's really gives you an amazing tool to use photographs because it can tell a story and a dream, and obviously we take somebody like Slim Aarons, and with his photos of the Riviera in the 50s, pardon me? That's right. Right, the Carlton. And I think this is Capri, and I think this is the Grand Hôtel de Cap Ferrat, or that's Cap Ferrat, and I think this is Cap d'Antibes. But anyway, so these are for sale, and then we change. We have new ones coming right now. If you sell a gift, you have to wrap it. So the most beautiful wrapping paper comes from Tuscany and is printed on very, very old machines. And so we have Tuscan wrapping paper. Let's see what else. There we go. There's like a sampling of the Tuscan wrapping paper. This is Church. This is that's Da Vinci, right? And then these are opera figures, and then this is Deco, and then you have columns, and then you have the Vespa. So, moving right along. Once again, love stuff that nobody wants. Nobody wants tapestries anymore. Oh, a tapestry. Why would you ever want a tapestry? So there's one tapestry manufacturer left in the United States. One. And I think he's in North Carolina. And so we buy from him. This is another one that it's great for flavor and it looks great. And we'll probably sell it now because it's now nicely displayed. But we haven't done well with it, but I still like it. And I think it's exotic and beautiful. These are pieces from France we bought recently. The bird cage is probably from India. And this is in France, Boule, where they play in the center town squares, and all the old guys come with their Gauloise and play boule. So there you have it. That's a trophy. This is Savon de Marseille, and it's from Alziari, and he's from Nice. And beautiful product, great colors. Let's keep going. Pillows, wonderful way to display pillows. I don't know if anybody else does it, but that's how we do it. Let's keep going. Moroccan tile gives you an idea of the breadth of this. Let's keep going. Solids and patterns. Our number one item in homewares is bistro chairs, and so we keep a lot of stock in bistro chairs. That picture was probably taken, 2 days ago? Something like that. And our stock is so right now. We'll keep going. This is our San Francisco store. It's called Industry Denim. It's a smaller version of American Rag. It's on Grand Street, right, in San Francisco. Big challenge was we had that staircase, and nobody wanted the location, but we took it because of the staircase, and then we did something interesting with the staircase. We used Moroccan tile on it. Let's keep going. And obviously the urns out. This is more of San Francisco. Hotel mirror. Old wood, Murano lights, same form. Let's keep going. Our floor, our Moroccan tile floor, not done traditional way, done in geometrics. Let's keep going. MW, let's buzz through some of this stuff because we're
So for this section, move on to our licensees.
Just go quick in licensees. We'll just show you what we're doing overseas, and then I have a couple things to say, and then we'll wrap it up.
You want to do Turkey, Japan, or China?
Do some of each. How's that?
Okay. We'll be real quick.
Okay, where are we here? Okay, so this is China. This is is this Chongqing or Guangzhou? So we're in a mall in Chongqing, and it's about 50,000 feet, and we're sort of the entryway because we're multi-brand, and so that's interesting for them. Let's keep going. Let's give them just a minute. The group we're in is at Novo. Let's keep going. I think you can see what the similarities of what we do. We have a house style. We have a house DNA. We use trellis. We use massive urns and things like that. It's great in malls. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. I love that picture. We need to send that picture to Thailand tomorrow. There's our manager of licensing. He's Caleb Lin, who's Taiwanese, so he speaks Mandarin. He works with us and does overseas projects. This is a beautiful floor that's done. You can see. Okay, let's go to Turkey. Let's go to Istanbul for a minute.
You can see that a lot of these it's got elements of us, but it's adapted to the market.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no way we're going to know exactly what perfectly fits that market, so we work with licensees that help us develop our concept and adapt it to that market.
Right. Absolutely. Let's keep going. Is this okay?
Let's go to Japan. That's probably the
Oh, I don't think we need to go so long.
I think this is the longest running license.
Yeah, right. This is La Rochère. This is the way that they present it. They present it with a nice presentation and tell you, obviously the Japanese is you can't read it, but because it's a blurry picture. This is Moroccan tea glasses. Let's keep going quick. Diptyque watches. Those are Citizens, aren't they?
Yep.
Watch presentation, and this is West Third brand.
I'm going to try to get to the front of the store so they can kind of see where shoes.
Many of these products are vertical. We produce them ourselves because we have 13 stores. So we design and produce vertically.
Take all the things
Right.
If that's okay. And
Okay, this is in Istanbul. Istanbul's a great city. I don't know. Anybody been to Istanbul? Yeah, great place. Should we do a couple?
that's our store in Istanbul.
Which is beautiful. It absolutely is beautiful. It was like a tunnel. So what Rudolph did is he built like a 1890 warehouse in France. He built a forged iron mezzanine. So as you come in, you see all the stock upstairs, and he built chutes that you shoot the stock down for downstairs, and it took what was a tunnel and made it into a warm, cozy place. Okay, let's go to a couple. Bingo, let's do this. No, not that. We don't want to do that. No, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do Louis. There we go. That's what we want to do. So there's, like basically I kind of showed you what I do, what is my work and how I do it and what are some of the thoughts behind it and that sort of thing. But there's three concepts that are kind of running behind all of this. And one concept is globalization. I mean, I don't know what you guys are going to do in your life, and I don't know, if you are artists or if you're merchandisers or if you're, I don't know because I don't know you. But I can tell you one thing that's absolutely for sure. In your lifetime, if you don't think global, you ain't going to be a player. That's it. I mean, that's it. The world's the marketplace. With a little cell phone and a computer, you can sell anything, anywhere, anytime. We just did a whole store in Hong Kong of bistro chairs or some, I don't know. I just don't know where it is. But globalization is something that's absolutely part of today's scene. In my own personal life, I was in New York with friends and family in New York, and look at my table. My wife is Chinese, so my two youngest are Chinese. My next is going from bottom up is Mark, and his mother was Dutch, and then and his wife is Ukrainian. Hi Vlada. And then my next daughter has two grandchildren from me, and people use this term African American. Well, my grandchildren are absolutely African American because my son-in-law is from Nigeria, Lagos, Ike, and he's absolutely fantastic. My daughter is absolutely and totally blonde hair, blue eyes, white skin, and Ike is just the most gorgeous pitch black you'd ever seen in your life. And my grandkids are milk chocolate. So that's and then my other son who's kind of a wanderlust. He lives in South Africa, speaks a number of languages, and he was just a little bit undone at that dinner table because he had just broken up with a Portuguese woman from Rio. So that's kind of like the world today. That's what happens, and this is what's going to be happening in the future. This thing called a passport, it's going to say on it, like this one does, citizen of the world. So when I give this at customs, I hand that in, and all these customs guys, they all say, would you please take it out of that jacket? And I go, sure, I'll take it out of the jacket. But I'm thinking to myself, like, guess what, dude? All of them are going to be citizens of the world after in not such a short time. So globalization is something that I find is an absolute constant for 2014 and beyond. The next idea that I'm going to put forward is I don't know. Did you guys ever study physics? There's a law in physics called the law of the conservation of energy in the universe. Okay, so it's kinetic energy, and so the amount of energy in the universe is a constant, and the only thing that happens is that it's displaced. So if you have a balloon, right, and you push here, guess what happens? It goes out there. If you push here, it goes out there. So I always think of business that way, and so right now we're in the days of the decline of Louis. There's Louis. Okay, Chinese Louis. So basically, he was the end of the French Empire. But if you go back, if you go to the Asian Museum in Paris and stuff, you saw the Egyptian Empire, then you saw the Chinese Empire, then you saw and things go in cycles. And there's all these, there's the Ottoman Empire, and then there's the British Empire, Then we had, then we were just coming out of what's called Pax Americana. That's the post-World War II American domination, where the West, Japan, and U.S. were the major players. Guess what? That's over. We ain't it anymore. There's a new kid on the block, and so and I'm politically incorrect, but because I don't like any politics, because I think it's absolutely worthless, because you can't dictate equality, you can't like in this country you get to choose either Tweedledee or Tweedledum. Anyway, but the Tweedledum, who's now our president, this guy, he just declared that all the wages go up, minimum wage go up 30%. I mean, one of the great philanthropists of the world is the guy named Leon Cooperman, who he's a billionaire. He's given everything he owns to charity. So when he dies, everything he's given away. So he's made a lot of money giving it all away. So you can talk to him because he's real. And, he says you can't legislate equality. Why am I bringing this up? Because we have entitlements in the West, and the entitlements are killing us. It's the end of the Pax Americana. And where is it going? It's going to go to Asia. And there's a book by a gentleman by the name of George Packer, and I could tell you a little bit about it. It's called Unwinding: An Inner History of the New America. It's something really to read. It talks about this in a compelling way. And besides all that, I travel a lot, and I see it. The worst bullet train station in China is better than almost most of our airports in the United States, and certainly better than LAX was before they made the Tom Bradley building. So you just see things that are striking as you travel. But there's some good news out there too. The good news out there is that I can stand up here, right here in the United States, in the University of Southern California, where 45% of the student body is foreign, and I can say what I want. And I don't get stoned, and I go get put in jail, and so that's the good one. And so the people from the new superpowers that are coming, China, India, Turkey, Kazakhstan, Brazil, and go on and on and on, are all sending their kids here to school. Because we have the best university system here. The only thing is Tweedledee and Tweedledum are bungling that up too. We should have all the kids that are coming from all over the world that come to university here. You know what we do? As soon as they finish, we kick them out. I mean, you're out of here, Hey, that's great. I mean, that would be like the Los Angeles Dodgers training the opposing teams for spring training so that they could go out and lose to them during the season. I mean, why would you ever do that? So anyway, there's some things that need to be changed. I have some more thoughts about that. But as a and Louis, you know, like Louis put rubber horseshoes on horses and went fox hunting inside the Louvre in France. So, you know, that's the end. We're doing some pretty excessive things right now, too. It's the end of a time. So, but let's go on to the Delhi airport. Can we go to the Delhi airport? So, you know, like, let's go back to the Taj Mahal. So recently I was in India, and you know, I run around with all these bizarre thoughts in my mind, you know, as I'm just watching things. Sometimes I just don't judge, I just watch. But then sometimes, unfortunately, I judge. So, but as I was coming out of the airport, I think the Delhi airport has the ugliest rug of any airport on the face of the earth. I mean, this thing is really, really ugly. So, you know, so I was walking down, I couldn't stand it, so I was looking up, and there was a sign. And the sign says, you must become the change you want to see. And that's what you see when you come into Delhi. So the good news is that we can talk, and we can actually sometimes vote some people who have a mild intelligence into office. We have something to say. We can say it, and we can actually in our own lives do things that you know that we want to see have done. And the guy that said this was Mahatma Gandhi. So anyway, that's my little presentation for tonight. And if anybody has any questions or anything, I'd be delighted to chat with you.
Questions for Mark? I was just making a comment, and we talk about in retail a lot, the showrooming, how brick and mortar stores are suffering because they become a showroom, you know, a showroom, and then you buy one. So one thing I feel is you guys have created something where you could never find it anywhere. You've actually made brick and mortar unbreakable.
Well, I was going to say, if somebody thinks brick and mortar is what?
Yeah.
That? The lazy.
Right, exactly, because it's...
Get off your butt and make it happen.
Make it where it is undefined, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just like they say books are dead, no, they're not.
No.
Yeah.
Try to go to a Barnes & Noble and Americana on Friday night. Are you kidding?
Exactly, yeah.
I think, you know.
Exactly, no, exactly.
Anyone else? Any comments, observations, or yes?
And then in relation to that, do you think you're going to need to change the format of your store pretty soon to fit with the rise of e-commerce?
We already have. Upstairs, we have a whole floor that's e-commerce. So, you know, what we do is we use the store as a stock for the web. We have this discussion all the time. You know, like, should we be buying for the web? Should we be buying for our site? Should we, you know, like this sort of balance if we're trying to find you know, in answer to your question, which one of your hands is more important, your right hand or your left hand?
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
By us, it's both. So, you know, you need both. So,
They're telling me that they're recording, and so they want you to repeat the question and then answer.
oh, so sorry. You asked me what? Okay, that's okay. No, e-commerce. You were talking about e-commerce, and should he change the interior of the store because of e-commerce? And my answer was at American Right. Excuse me. We already have. We've got a whole floor above, which is e-commerce, and you know, I mean, it's an integral part of what we're doing. It's left hand, right hand to me. You know, which one's more important? Well, neither, both. Any other observations or? So you guys are from Sweden? Is that where you're from? Stockholm? No? What are you doing here? Huh? And where are you from in the back? Oh, okay. And how about you two ladies there? Korea. Both? And also Korean? Oh, okay. Great. And you are? Chinese. Yeah. From what city? Chengdu. 很漂亮。我太喜欢Chengdu。便宜。No. Anyway, when I went to high school, they told me I'd never be able to speak a language because, they told me I was stupid. And I said, and I remember going into a meeting with both of my parents. My father came too, and and my brothers and sisters. I was one of 6. They were all very smart, and so the guy was sitting there, and he was the language professor. So he said, some people have an aptitude for language, and some people don't, and it's really okay. Your son has absolutely zero aptitude for language. And Chinese is my 9th language, so I'm working on. 很难中文，很难哦。我的口音不好。She understand. 明白我说的吗？ My accent in Chinese is horrible because I'm no good with tones, but I'll learn it. It takes time. Takes time. Anything? What else? Anybody else? Yes. Hi.
How did you go from starting out to like a small jean company and building it and coming over here and making it big one with just jeans?
One day at a time. So the question is, how did I come from wherever I was and made from a small jean company and made it into a big jean company? Just one day at a time. I mean, one day at a time, and I kept my hand on the pulse. In 2003, business was tough at Macy's throughout the United States, and they were looking for to have an in-house brand that would compete with Abercrombie and Fitch and Aeropostale and those type of stores. And so, we raised our hand and said, yeah, we'll do that, and took a chance. And now we're the second biggest denim brand in 900 Macy's department stores throughout the United States. So it's just staying in the game.
Any plans for more stores?
Oh yeah. Are there any plans for more stores?
California area even.
I have a meeting with Caruso on Thursday morning, but I'm not very excited about that. So I'm more excited about Southeast Asia. I'm more excited about India. Had with Rohit today. We had a bit of a discussion. And the West is declining. Why would I want to, forget about the West. I'd rather go to Chongqing. There's 32 million people in Chongqing. There's only 7 million people in New York. Why do you want to, go to New York, little village? Anybody else? Hi.
Do you have any vintage in other countries?
Do I have a what?
Any vintage collections or not?
It goes culturally. We can sell scarves, ladies' scarves in most places, like an Hermes scarf from the 1950s, 60s, 70s, is beautiful, and people would, like that sort of thing, yes. But as you know, in certain cultures, they don't want anything that has to do with dead people. So, you have to respect the culture. I'm sorry?
No, I really like vintage, but I was wondering how it does it. Like, you cultures, they don't really accept.
No. In Chinese buildings, you don't have that because it's 44, and 44 is dead, so, like, bad luck, You would rather have 88th floor. So, there's suspicions, or what do you call it? Superstitions, yeah. Hi, yes?
I know that your main focus is stay global as a company now, but as you were just mentioning, you have to cater to culture, and it's still tribal outside of a lot of the cosmopolitan areas. So how do you try to, think up of something to sell to someone in Timbuktu?
Well, we're not in Timbuktu, but we are on the web. So, in the what you call tribal cultures, I agree with you. For example, Canada Goose, the great big down jackets, Canada Goose. So those have a limited distribution. But somebody in Spokane, Washington, or Timbuktu, or Omaha, Nebraska, or I don't know, someplace in Lubbock, Texas, or Seoul, Korea. Not that that's a sort of a provincial place, but there's restricted distribution. So online, you can sell to all these places online, and that's what we do. So we keep the store in metropolitan areas.
But logistic-wise, keeping the merchandise here and it's shipping it that far?
Online, we have free free transport, don't we? Yeah, free.
We ship all over the world.
Yeah, we ship all over the world.
One of our partnership companies.
But your distribution center is here in the United States?
Yes.
Commerce,
But
right out here, not far from us.
I mean, sometimes some of our orders are 60% international because we have limited brands that not everyone has, and you can't find it anywhere else. So we get ordered, sold. If you're the only guy in town, you're going to sell a lot of stuff.
Anybody else? Haven, I think that's it. One more? Yeah.
So they all realize, because when you're young, they don't realize, but what you've seen are things that other stores try to copy, like, it bugs me, like Anthropology, Urban Outfitters, which are lovely stores, but when you guys have seen the root of where Sur La Table and all these stores, they got the idea from you. But you're probably too modest to say that, but somebody has to. Somebody has to.
What is imitation is a high form of compliment. So my niche is change. That's my niche. So if I'm doing this now, I don't want to just do the same thing forever, because that's not my niche. So, okie doke.